Iceland has gained a lot of popularity over the past few years. It's full of breathtaking landscapes and isolated locations that can only be described as otherworldly. The only complaint that I hear about Iceland is that it can be extremely expensive. It's not uncommon to spend well over $2,000 for a 7-day trip. However, in 2018, me and 3 other friends visited Iceland for 11 days during peak season for about $1,000 per person. This is how we did it. First, hunt for cheap flights as soon as you decide to go. I started looking on Google Flights as early as September, purchased the tickets in January, went in July. The average price for flying out of Salt Lake City, Utah is between $800 to $1,000 round trip. The tickets we were able to find were about $480 round trip, so about half of that price. These prices will vary depending on where you're planning to fly out of. Just keep a close eye on prices and check them frequently for a good deal. Next, travel with low-maintenance people that can roll with the punches. Being able to share the bigger expenses such as accommodation, the rental car, and the fuel with 3 other people can save you up to 75% when splitting it equally. Book what you can as early as you can. With the increase in tourism, things can sell out pretty quickly. As soon as we booked our flight, we reserved our rental car, which was a 4x4 Dacia Duster. The total for the 11 days came out to about $1,030. I don't have the exact amount on how much we spent on fuel, but we went around the entire island, so I'm going to guess somewhere around $250. Accommodations can cost you hundreds of dollars a night depending on where you want to stay. In an attempt to cut costs, we only booked 3 accommodations at Airbnbs around the island for 1 night each. After splitting up all of these expenses between the 4 of us, it came out to about $400 per person. So, what did we do for accommodation on the other 7 nights? Camp. Camping is a great way to save money. Just make sure that you are staying in designated camping spots. Wild camping is strongly discouraged and most likely illegal. And if you see signs like this, they're not trying to be funny. It's very disrespectful and just don't do it. There are plenty of designated campsites around the island with proper bathrooms and running water for when nature calls. Most of these campsites cost either around $10 to $25, ask for a donation, or they can be completely free. A couple quick tips: make sure to bring a sleep mask. It does not get very dark at night. It can also be very wet, so if you are planning to sleep in a tent, I would pack some sort of bedding that raises you up off the ground a little bit. There were a couple nights where we woke up to a good amount of water in the bottom of our tent. We could have saved even more money if we did strictly campsites. However, I did find it really nice to be able to sleep in a real bed every once in a while, spread out our things if they got wet, to dry them off, and to just recharge all of our devices. Another way to cut costs is to make your own meals. $20 hamburgers are sold in many gas stations all around Iceland.
Most expensive burger I'll ever eat.
Food can quickly become a very expensive item. However, buying a loaf of bread, some peanut butter, and jelly is very affordable. We often ate PB&Js for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I'm not gonna lie, it got really old, and it probably took me a full year to be able to stomach another PB&J, but it was very cheap. Overall, I think we spent about $60 a person on food. And while you're in Iceland, don't worry about buying bottled water. Most of the water is safe to drink. Don't be afraid to fill up your water bottle in the faucet or potentially in the nearby stream. Another thing that we did to help cut costs was we packed very light. We each brought our own personal backpacks, and then we split a bag to check in on the flight. If you want some tips and tricks about traveling light, I do have another video that you guys can check out to help you feel more comfortable with that. Next up, souvenirs. You don't have to spend a lot of money to get an authentic souvenir in Iceland. There are many stores that sell balls of pure Icelandic wool for just a couple bucks a piece. I was able to use that yarn to make a few hats for us and to also use as decorative pieces in our front room. And my last thing is just explore. If you enjoy doing hikes, visiting beaches, or just seeing what is at the end of a road, there is so much that you can do that costs little to nothing. There may be some places that charge for parking, but if you don't want to do that, there are plenty of places along the rest of the island that you can go for absolutely free. Personally, some of my favorite locations were in the West Fjords and inland if you dare go there. Not only does this get you away from the crowds, it also allows you to experience Iceland in a very personal and intimate way. This brings our grand total somewhere around $1,050 per person. It was not the most extravagant vacation I've ever been on, and at times definitely not the most comfortable, but I would do it all again in a heartbeat. If this is the only way that you're going to be able to experience Iceland, do yourself a favor and do it. You won't regret it. If you liked this video or found it helpful, please don't forget to like and subscribe, and happy travels!